Hi, and welcome to How Do I Succeed in Class with me, your instructor, Stephanie Maynard. Alright, so the first thing you want to do when you're in class is read. Look at the office hours, the welcome letter, pacing calendar, project rubrics, discussion board, and those rubrics and the synchronous sessions. They're all under announcements. So office hours, Monday through Friday, 9 to 12 and 1 to 4, except during synchronous sessions, which will be posted. Emails or submissions after 4:30 or on weekends will not be addressed until the next business day, which is Monday through Friday when the school is open. Contact information, my direct line, 480-498-6166. You can also text me via Google Text 928-351-7780 or my email stephanie.maynard@primaveratech.org. So how to email me. When you email me, remember that I have 4 classes and I have approximately 120 students. So please provide your course, biology, botany, anatomy, whatever. If you can see which biology class you're in, that would also help as well. But I have 120 students. It's faster for me to send it back to you than to try and go through all the different courses and find you. So it'd be really helpful. When you're calling me, if you're leaving a message, tell me, hey, I'm in your biology class or your botany class. Can you give me a call? Of course, provide your information, the phone number. But welcome letter. So read your welcome letter. Sometimes it'll have information that is not included elsewhere. The welcome letter does have the links to the syllabus, project rubrics, discussion rubrics, project supply list, pacing calendar, synchronous classroom information. All that type of data is available, or information is available. The links are also available outside the welcome letter, but under the welcome letter heading. Synchronous session rubric, we're not using those this term because we're piloting the Engage classroom, so we didn't want to penalize students for that. So that's a 0% in your gradebook, but we do want you to stay with them because you'll get information relevant to the course or what is being taught that week. Same with the asynchronous sessions, not this term, but I will be providing you with PowerPoints and or recordings each week. The pacing calendar tells you how many classes that you need to complete per day and per week to be on track for completion. For example, in the 4-week summer session, it's 2 lessons a day or 10 lessons a week. That's Monday through Friday, so you've got the weekend to catch up. For the 6-week regular session, you have 1 lesson a day or 5 lessons a week. Pacing calendar, a little bit different for each class. So make sure you look at that. It tells you when the exams are due. If you're following the pacing calendar as well as projects. Project rubrics are posted online under the announcements and the welcome letter. These tell you the exact question you need to answer for each part of the project and what we're looking for in the answer. You do need to do complete sentences. Those are required. There's also a part called communication that is used to grade the grammar, sentence structure, all of that, where even if you're not doing so well with the answers, but you're writing them well and you're following all the different requirements, you can get actually better communication even though you may not have such great scores for the other sections, or it can be reversed. You might be answering the question, but it's not following the proper grammar, sentence structure, etc. And then I reserve the right to lower your communication score. So it's just kind of almost a freebie 4 points. All right, project rubrics. We're going to look at biology rubric 5 and anatomy rubric 3. Sorry, botany people. I'll update this with your stuff too, but they're all basically the same. So biology project number 5 was about food webs. They'd been studying that portion. So paragraph 1 This is like a 3-paragraph essay, I believe. So paragraph 1 wants you to describe a food web of at least 5 organisms. Explain what type of feeder each organism is, whether it's an autotroph or heterotroph. Explain the trophic level of each organism, so primary consumer, secondary consumer, that type of thing. Then numbers the amount of primary, secondary, tertiary consumers and compares that with the number of producers. That'll make a little more sense when you get to that project, but this is all the things that we want you to include in that first paragraph. If you look at the highly proficient over here, you can see my response accurately addresses all parts of the question. You get 4 points if you do that. If you only address most parts, you get 3 points. Partially proficient, you're just answering some of the questions, some part of the questions. Minimally proficient, you would try to do it, but you can't quite. You're not paying. You're just not getting the information down, which you probably need to call me if you're stuck at that level. Okay, so Anatomy Physiology Project 3. This one is interesting too. It's talking about smallpox. It's the section is on vaccines, I believe. So you've got several things going on. So I believe this is also a multi-paragraph lab write-up. So question 1 should explain and describe the pathology or the cause and effect of smallpox. It should describe the treatments for smallpox, who created it and how the vaccine was created, and then what side effects are left behind after the person has recovered from smallpox. You include all of that information, you should be golden. I have had people that don't really describe the cause and effect of smallpox. They haven't touched on part B there, but then they go into detail about the side effects that are left behind after the person's recovered from smallpox. It's not going to get you highly proficient if you are only answering letter C. Okay, you need to be answering all of those. And if you look down here, lesson 12, question 2 wants you to cover the timeline of the disease. When did it first show up? When was it eradicated? Why was it vaccine able to be administered? That type of thing. So as long as you're answering these questions within your paragraph or your section of the lab report, you should be just fine. Now, I do provide this project rubric and a scorecard with information as to exactly what part of the rubric questions you are missing. So I try to be helpful, and you'll be able to resubmit the project. All right, discussion board. Why do we discuss? What are class discussions? How much is it worth? Rubrics, all sorts of good stuff. Plagiarism. I really hate to have to discuss that part, but we do. So why do we discuss? Well, we're trying to simulate a real classroom environment. It helps you get a better understanding of the topic and you're viewing multiple perspectives. So somebody might come up with something, you're like, oh, hey, I didn't know that, or I didn't think about that. And so you go and you do some research or you respond to the person's comment. If you have questions or concerns, definitely call me. If it's a question about what someone wrote, as in, hey, I love what you did. Did you see anything about this on your topic? You can just put that in there. We take the information that we learn in the course notes, and you can use those examples that are from the course notes and details from the course notes to support your point of view. Here's the big question right now, right? Discussions are currently 20% of your grade, since we are not penalizing you in any way for the synchronous/asynchronous topics. But please take the discussions seriously. Your goal, if you're in biology and botany, is to earn 20 points a unit. So you have 5 discussion questions. You need to be posting once in each discussion board. Your goal is to earn 20 points per discussion. If you don't earn the full 20 points, which requires a citation as well for the full 20 points, you can go back in. You can look at someone else's post and ask them a question or do a comment that is very, well, it's a little more detailed, providing some other information, that type of thing. And that's perfectly fine. Sometimes you will have the option of having, there will be a second question on the discussion questions. You can also answer that for extra points. But that's not on all of them yet. If you're in anatomy, your goal is 34 points because you only have 3 discussion boards per unit. And so the goal is to get 100 points per unit. And so you can follow the same suggestions that I gave a minute ago. Ideally, use specific examples and details from the course. That'll help you. It'll fill out your answer, make it more solid. So this discussion board rubric here is for biology and botany. Tells you 15 to 20 points. Post has little or no spelling, grammar, punctuation errors. Word choice is vivid. Post is focused on topic. You support it with references. And this should say you will only earn over 15 points if you have this component included. Proper English, we don't want slang. This is academic writing is what we're looking for. You will earn 0 points if the post is empty or it's been plagiarized. Now, I know some of you, submit empty posts so you can continue through the class. That's fine. I give them a 0. And if when you come back through, you just add to it, create a new post, whatever, and you'll get those points back. So here's my other suggestion that I think is a great idea. Make your life less difficult. Please write your post in Word first, then copy and paste. So if you write your discussion question in Word, it's going to catch grammar errors for the most part. It's going to catch spelling errors. It's going to catch sentence structure errors. So it's important to do that. It'll get you better grade too in the long run. On your discussion board posts, do not use the word I and type it as the lowercase I. Please don't begin a sentence with a lowercase letter. I saw that so much last term. Do not finish a sentence without using punctuation. So I know you guys are used to text language for a lot of things. I had students put 4 different concepts without any punctuation at all. It's like, okay, what are you trying to say? I can't even, it's not even legible. So please use punctuation, commas, periods, exclamation points, anything to help someone read through your discussion post and understand it. Do not answer a question other than the one that was asked. So it's kind of like saying, how many biomes are in the world, and you say purple. That's going to be an automatic 0, and it's irritating to everyone because they have to look at your purple. I do hide those when I catch them. Please do not answer only part of the question. If you want a good grade, you need to answer the whole question. And then this one should be obvious. I'll go into a little more detail in a minute, but don't copy another student's work. I actually read every single post, and I will catch it. And if I catch it later in the class, I am going to go back and double check all your work. And so if I find things plagiarized from the past, you will end up with a 0 on those. So please just avoid the hassle. You can look at someone else's post for an idea, but you need to put it in your own words, all right? Don't use words like gonna, wanna, shoulda, lol, haha in your discussion posts. And please use the word and instead of the symbol. The idea is that this is supposed to be academic work because you're in school. It's kind of like your English class. Whether you liked English or not, you still have to do some of this stuff. It will benefit you as you go into the job market as well. So we expect academic writing. The purpose of discussions to show why ideas, people, or events are significant. Just kind of helps you think more or more deeply. So a little bit of a copy here. Just attempting the question does not give you the points. You need to fully answer the question. Your responses need to be in complete sentences and need to show the significance of the topic. This means a single sentence response will not be good enough. So, preparation. Here's some ways to experience success with the discussion questions. So, glance at the discussion questions before you begin the lesson. Take note of the questions. Try and take notes and details that will help you answer the question. So it'll give you a goal when you're reading, kind of where am I heading? What am I trying to get out of this? By doing this, most often you will have answered the question before getting to the discussion. Also, use detailed notes from the coursework, and that shouldn't say Adobe's anymore, it should say Engage. Will help with discussions and other aspects. Again, this is an open note course, so good notes are important, very important. All right, so let's look at a couple biology discussions. So, biology discussion question 5 said, in this lesson's video, you're introduced to the issues surrounding human population growth. Consider what you've learned about ecology so far, specifically how organisms interact with their environment. So use that information to answer the following questions. Why do you think the growing human population is a concern? Research ways that people have tried to address the growth. What suggestions do you have? And cite. So here's an example of a good start on a discussion question. The growing human population is a concern due to the limited amount of resources on our planet, such as clean water, land, and food. So they have restated the question, and they've provided some detail. Again, like I said, this is just the beginning of the person's post. They also provided references. Second example, consider what you know about biomes. So this is a biology question, and answer the following questions. Would the destruction or loss of any one biome be harmful? How might Earth be different if there was only one type? And would it be possible to have only one type? So we've got, yes, I believe that the destruction of any one biome could be very harmful. The loss of only one could greatly affect all of the other biomes in a negative way. So they've started off the question, or the answer, very well. They would need to continue explaining how it would affect the other biomes in a negative way. Biggest problem here, no source was cited. So then your next response, these are from my actual biology discussion questions, guys. So the destruction or loss of any one biome would have catastrophic results on the environment surrounding them. That really doesn't tell us anything. What are catastrophic results? What are you talking about? And this person, this is their whole line for their discussion question. So they didn't do any of the things we told you to do, and they didn't cite a source. The other thing that students do is I think, I feel, I believe. Unless the question is specifically asking you your opinion, you're going to want to back things up with sources. So if it says, I believe that disease is bad because, I don't know, it's harder for people to recover. Okay, great, but the question was, give a definition of disease. So you can say, I believe, that part was fine, but you're going to want to say, because, or I came to this conclusion because, and define disease, okay? So I don't have a problem with your opinions as long as they're based in facts, and we've got information for that. This one here, you're welcome to read and look at and decide what you think this question is worth. So, it's from my example before, the person's answer is the loss of a biome would be detrimental to the earth and the environments around. There would be less plant and animal diversity. The only thing that could flourish would be bacteria and insects. If there's only one type of biome, there would be way less food and nutrients that are vital to human life. So if we analyze this one, does it have a source? No. So it automatically can't get over 15 points. Let's see. Does it have good grammar? There would be way less food and nutrients that are vital to human life. Again, that's not really good. It's not specific at all. So we know it's probably not going to even get 15 points. There would be less plant and animal diversity. The only thing that could flourish would be bacteria and insects. Okay, why? Where did they come up with that? They're talking about the loss of a biome. So that would affect all the other biomes. So we just need to go into more detail about this. Checklist. So here's things, again, just to kind of reinforce the discussion. Refer to the information in the course and Google searches. You're welcome to use Google searches. Wiki should not be your primary source. You should look at the references there. Although Wiki's catching most of the changes very quickly, you still need to be careful. Use proper spelling and punctuation again. Spell check, proofread. I have been known to rewrite things 3 and 4 times to make sure I'm getting my idea across. Use complete sentences. Use your own words. And again, if you don't earn full points on the first attempt, you can post more, respond to classmates, that type of thing. So what is highly proficient in terms of the rubric? Remember I showed you it had the question that had highly proficient, partially proficient, and that type of thing. So you need to be specific, identify concepts and things that are relevant. You need to use specific examples if possible. You need to answer all parts of the question. Biggest thing here, ask yourself, would the reader understand what I'm talking about without having the discussion post to refer to? The answer should be yes, which goes with the examples I gave you before. And then always refer to the grading rubric. Alright, so identify the concept and make it relevant to the question. What is a concept? It's a main idea or main term that answers the question. What does it mean to be relevant? To be closely connected to or appropriate to the question being asked. So for example, what is your favorite Arizona sports team? So what's the concept here? Sports team. Examples. And then is it relevant over in the comments, over in the other column? I like the Diamondbacks. Yes, it's relevant. It's an Arizona team. 2, I like Larry Fitzgerald. Is this relevant? Is it about an Arizona sports team? No, it's a player. Another example, I like the Sun Devils. Is it relevant? Are the Sun Devils an Arizona sports team? Yes. However, it's not. It doesn't list a specific sport because Arizona State Sun Devils refers to many of their different sports. Example, I really like the Dodgers. My friend said no, despite the enthusiasm, although the Dodgers are a football or a baseball team, but are they an Arizona sports team? No, they're from California. Which restaurant is better, Olive Garden or Red Lobster? Alright, I like Olive Garden. Is it highly proficient? Is it relevant? No, it does not answer the question. I like Olive Garden because I like Italian food. Does it answer the question? No, it doesn't say anything about Red Lobster or details. I like Olive Garden better than Red Lobster because the food is tasty, the prices are good, and the service is fast. Is this highly proficient? Yes, this response compares the 2 restaurants and gives details. Okay, so let's look at another one. Consider what you know about biomes and answer the following questions. Would the destruction or loss of any one biome be harmful? How might Earth be different if there's only one type, and would it be possible? Yes, you see a theme here, right? Okay, so someone wrote most likely yes. Many animals would adapt at the same rate. It has some good points. The most likely yes is fine. However, I would say most likely the destruction of any one biome would be harmful because many animals, yeah, no, that doesn't even work when I'm reading it. Many animals would adapt at the same rate. What does that mean? Okay. Then by losing an biome, which is improper English, it should be a biome, could be harmful because we can kill off some species of animals and plants. If one was one, it would affect the form of life. No, it wouldn't be possible because the other food for the animals would be all gone. Now, this is taken verbatim from one of my discussion post students. A lot of issues with it. Starts out okay, but it's missing words, right? Harmful because can kill off. If one was one, I have no idea what that meant at all. And then no, like after no, there should be a comma. So there's some things wrong with it, but it's kind of got a good base that can be reworded. And then over here in the corner, I agree with Jim. This is not acceptable either. You're welcome to agree with Jim. You just won't get points for it. Think of some tips and tricks you might have learned with discussion posts. Definitely email them to me, and I'll send them out to all the classes so everyone can benefit. Some other things I've seen with discussion board. Don't just list your answers. I've had students go in at the end to trying to catch up and they say pros, ABCD, cons, ABCD. It's like, well, that's not answering the question. It's not really doing anything that we've told you to do. Again, don't simply write I agree. It's okay to respond to another student's post as well, but you need to further the discussion. So if you like what they wrote, what do you like about it? If you have a question, why do you have that question? Hey, look, I saw you posted this. I'm a little confused, or I'm curious. Did you see this in your research? That type of thing. Plagiarism, bad. Discussions, first offense, I'll type in a 0 and write plagiarized and tell you about it. Second offense, you get a 0. You will not be able to redo that. And if you continue the process of plagiarizing, we're going to have to escalate it up the ladder, but I hate to do that. So please, if you like someone else's answer, put it in your own words. Don't copy and paste. As I said before, I read all the discussion posts and I catch a huge majority of them. Projects, first offense. If you plagiarize, that means from sources anywhere, because you haven't quoted them, haven't cited them. You'll get a 0, and I'll let you redo it. If you do this again on another project, get a 0, and we're going to have to take it up the line, unfortunately, because that's school policy. You're welcome to, well, the ideal situation is if you see something, rather than copying it and putting quotes, put it in your own words and then cite it. Give them credit for the information. Study guides. There are study guides under the announcement heading for all the exams. If you can't find them, let me know, but they usually say study guides. They have their own post. Questions, please feel free to email them to me. Unfortunately, you can't type them here.